All right, so we're going to take a deeper peek into rewriting and simplifying different trig expressions. Now, yesterday, or on the preview day, you guys worked with a little bit easier problems, but I'm going to give you some harder ones that we're going to do together. So the first piece we're looking at is secant x minus cosine x. Your hint for these problems is you should really try to put what you can in into sine and cosine. Basically, everything can break down into sine and cosine. Now, it's not the most logical, and we'll see in that next example. But for this one, secant is the same thing as 1 over cosine x. And then we've got minus cosine x, which is just cosine x over 1. In order to subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by cosine x over cosine x. In this next step, I see that I have 1 minus cosine squared x, or cosine x squared, they can be read both ways, over cosine x. Now, if you go and take a peek back into your identities, you have something that tells you that it's 1 minus cosine squared. 1 minus cosine squared turns into sine squared, and we're working with x. Sometimes I leave out the x or the theta or anything like that, so I'm just working with what I'm working with, and then I add it back in the end, and that is totally acceptable as long as you add it back. That's over cosine x. If I have just a singular sine over cosine, that's tangent. So I guess I could expand this into sine x times sine x over cosine. That leaves me with a tangent x sine x, and that is it. So pause it, take a second, write down the pieces. You should always, always, always have your identities with you when you are working on these problems. They are vital. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys another example. This one's on the harder scale, and it doesn't necessarily work into putting things into sine and cosine first. And you will see why. So I've got cosecant x, cotangent squared, plus 1 over sine x. Okay, so I have cosecant, cotangent, and sine. Is there something in your identities that I can change cotangent to that's either related to cosecant or sine? Go ahead, take a look into your identities that you wrote down, and hopefully you see that cotangent squared is equivalent to cosecant squared x minus 1, and that's a Pythagorean identity. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in. So I already have a cosecant x. Then I'm going to substitute in my cosecant squared x minus 1 for my cotangent x based off of that identity. And then it says plus 1 over sine x. 1 over sine x is equivalent to cosecant x. So that's where I'm at just in that first step. Then I want to distribute. So cosecant times cosecant squared is, yes, it's possible, cosecant cubed x minus a cosecant x plus a cosecant x. These cancel each other out, and we are just left with a cosecant cubed x, and that is it. There's nothing else you can do. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to give you guys a couple to do on your own, and then come back and check on the next video.